Today I will complain about another thing with Discogs. I've only recently started adding records to Discogs about a few months ago, but I added about 3,000 records or so far, and I know how it works, and I know how much better it could be, because I run a competing site where I had to design the whole experience myself, and I've added a lot of things that makes the experience better, and also makes me happy adding records. Not frustrated, and we will not talk about the grading or the other stuff. I will try to focus on item location, because that is kind of important. Everybody has their own system. Most likely when you add stuff to Discogs, you bring one box of record, and it might be called box 55, but when you enter that location here, it will not show up the next time you add a record. You have to enter it manually every time. It's just such a frustrating thing to do. It would be so easy to just remember. Are you still working on box 55? Let's put that there so you don't have to. Now, that's not the only criticism I have, because that is very small, but it's so irritating, and it has cost me several hours extra just to add a location in that field. But that doesn't matter so much, because they're missing something more important, and they already have the functionality and they use it. Let's have a look at my purchases. I will explain what this number is. This is the order number, and it's a two-parter. The first part is the ID of the user selling the record. The lower the ID, the longer they have been on Discogs. The second part is an increasing number from 1 and upwards. This is number 87 that this seller has ever sold on Discogs on this account. Here we can see this seller has sold over 11,000 orders, and sometimes you can see over 100,000 orders. So that's definitely the number of orders, especially if you compare them to the number of reviews. Now, this is something I have on my site. I enumerate every record, so I don't have to do that manually. You can enumerate it manually and enter it in item location or private comment. That takes time, and every time you do it manually, you can make a mistake and then you cannot find that record. Having it automated, that's just such a time saver, and I feel so frustrated that Discogs doesn't even try, even though they know exactly how to do this. I also have a box identifier before. I mostly sell LPs, CDs and vinyl singles, so I have CD, 7-inch or LP here, so I know which collection to look in, and then I have a number so I can always find that record as fast as possible. That is not just a great idea, that's just basic functionality that Discogs should have 25 years ago. Now, I also added some other things that Discogs will never add because they really don't care. I don't even know if the founders still use their site for selling records or if they're just too busy counting money. I have a counter how many records I've added every day. That is just so fun to look at that number going up, seeing your hard work put into an actual number. Then it would be very easy to set a goal every day to add maybe 50 records or 100 records, and then you could call it a quits and know you did a good job. And this is Swedish for good job. And something very interesting that I love seeing is how much money I would sell if I sold every record that I listed today, so I know how much value I added to the site. Here is a counter from a specific date, but you could also have since you started with Discogs, so every time you sold a record you would see your store value increase. That's pretty good, right? And that will never happen on Discogs because they do not listen to their users. I will try and build something better, and I hope you're interested in learning more about this project. I know these videos aren't high quality, but I'm doing my best. So I hope you'll subscribe and like the video or share it with someone else, because I really would like more people to know that someone is actually working on an alternative that might even be better than Discogs.